Let me balance you out.
I appreciate the support.
Soothing your wounds.
Like cherry blossoms in the rain.
I'm here. Hi, Kusiri. Help me move the payload. What's up? Let me balance you out.
Witness. A testament to my skill.
Understood. Jackie Tyson. Enemies found. Preparing to defeat.
Time to drop the ball.
Renewed again.
The pendulum.
Makoyo.
Your fate.
That's Fox power. I'm here. Soothing your wounds. My gift to you. Be careful.
Your fate.
Restoring balance.
Unerring precision.
Taking damage. Let me balance you out.
Good looks are not
that easily. 私がついてる。Got it.
Hello.
Be careful, 島田。
I am healed.
Group up with me.
Not forgetting the payload, are we?
I'm with you.
Join me.
回復する。I'm with you.
Behind you.
Enemy here.
Okay, let's wait here. Focused here. Blocked by the target.
Victory. Play of the game. Now entering King's Row. I will not leave a broken world behind.
A peaceful reality is within our reach.
I wish I could believe that. Aren't you a relic? A siege automaton E-54. Your kind left a grave wound on this world. Come to think of it, I suppose we aren't so
5,
different.
4, 3, 2, 1. Attack commencing. Capture objective A.
Let's move out! I've got you. Stand up straight. Your end is within my reach. Need a moment to recharge.
Someday violence will be unleashed.
One of these days I'll end up in Fiji. Pain is inevitable. I have you. Keep fighting. Don't keep aiming. Don't fret. I see you. I have you. Keep fighting. Stand up straight.
Misery made manifest.
Healing you. About right. For the pulse. You're powered down. Get in there. Underestimate me. I guess they weren't finished.
The enemy has been vanquished.
The
Isaiah.
payload has reached the checkpoint. I will deliver this payload safely.
Behold my creation. Reality bends to my will. I'm under attack.
I'm not finished. I see you. I needed that.
System repaired.
Covered in guilt.
We are outnumbered.
لسه قدامي كتير. وليهم قوتك. I won't give in.
I see a hostile.
I'm here. Keep fighting.
my will.
Be careful.
Ramatra, at your side.
Taking shape.
Our time is up. Push now!
Reality bends to my will.
Keep aiming.
10 seconds.
Your power's out. Get in there. The Eye of Horus watches over you. You need to move the payload.
Play of the game.
What efficient defenses.
Traveling to Nepal. Prepare for battle. Select your hero.
Come on, Five. I need your help.
3, 2, 1. Round 1. Capture the objective.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
I am so ready for this.
No. Sorry, I'm tired. Ouch! Are you okay?
We will guard this point.
I'm on a roll! Ice wall coming up! Healed up. Protecting.
Let's attack the objective.
Don't give up. We can do this. I'm ready to start a blizzard.
Adaptive circuits engaged. Orisa.
Setting up on the objective. Shouldn't have messed with me. Hey, catch! Ice wall coming up. Ouch! Are you okay? Ouch! Are you okay? That was an avalanche! Ouch! Are you okay? Ouch! Are you...
Blew him out of the water.
Yay! Let's do this, Snowball.
First round. 1.
Yay!
Score 1-0.
Better get paid after all this. I don't like having my time wasted.
这个世界需要我们。
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 2. Capture the objective.
Not bad. Now let's finish this.
Chill. Healed up.
Band together.
勤能捕捉。
We will guard this point.
We could have just talked it out.
This ends now.
不洗澡。 Are you okay, Snowball?
You'll have to try harder than that.
Junkrat primed and ready.
Group up here. Dynamite out. Ouch! Are you okay? Protecting.
Not so fast.
Just part of the scientific method.
Buckle my shoe. There's mayhem to do.
Round 2, loss. Vai, amore! Score 1-1.
Pump up the bass. It's time to roll out. Anybody got a toothpick? Wow. Got one of them mantis arms stuck between the molars.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 3. Capture the objective.
Group up with me. Mercy on call.
I stand with you.
They're all over me.
The objective is locked.
strike from above.
Orisa is here.
I must return to my post. I'm here for healing.
Negative.
I thank you.
Crime doesn't pay. Repositioning. Healing stream connected. I knew I could count on you.
Engage those hostiles.
I will not waste this opportunity.
Tactical visor activated.
I've got you covered. A clean hello.
Time to go.
I don't want to talk about it.
Come on, Snowball. They need our help.
Heroes never die.
I'm taking the objective. 有本事就翻过去。 Group up here. Ice wall coming up. Sorry. Be purified.
Now arriving at Lijiang Tower. Prepare for battle. Select your hero. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 1. Capture the objective.
I'll find my own path. The breeze brings
The
relief.
objective is now.
Side. Carried on the wind. Let me balance you out.
Use your imagination.
Time for a fight!
Finishing them off.
Okay, I learned from that.
Fixating on target.
The spring flows anew. On my way. Come here. I can heal you. The breeze brings relief. You're all good.
Focal point.
Done playing around. I've got you.
For the Crusaders!
Dial come to me for heals.
Best round lost. Score 0-1.
A peaceful reality is within our reach.
I wish I could believe that.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 2. Capture the objective.
Focus, and we might get out alive. Restoring balance.
Not the first, not the last.
The objective is now
Hear my bell.
Soldier 76.
I've got you in my sights. Personality, echo on
What's up? That lesson's free. Attack the objective. Objective's mine.
I will keep you safe.
We're outnumbered. Watch yourselves. Time kissing.
Force of Crusaders!
I could use a heal. Let the kids.
Focal point locked.
Sometimes it takes two.
Get over here. Everyone heal up. Meteor strike!
Let me balance you out.
Round 2. 1.
Vide mal suyo!
Score 1-1.
My old command team. Let's do better this time.
The best laid plans have backup plans.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 3. Capture the objective.
This is the end. We must give it our all.
Draw strength from
The
nature.
objective is now.
Keep you safe.
Taking flight.
Tactical visor
Like a
activated.
gentle rain.
Nanoboost administered.
It's go time.
Let the Kitsune guide you! Back off. Under my protection. That can't be all of them.
Tango down.
I'm on my game now.
Stand behind me, friend.
أنا ما حدش يقدر علي.
I've got you. On my way. Hey. Follow the wind. Thank you.
Visor activated.
Strength from nature.
Nanoboost administered.
Thanks for the deal. Like a gentle rain. Not so fast. Come here. I can heal you.
I will keep you safe.
Adapt to me for heal.
Crusaders!
I'm with you. Yoku dekimashita.
It's go time.
Watashi ga tsuiteる. Come here. I can heal you. Watashi ga守る.
Rest easy.
Hey. Let the Kitsune guide you.
Enemy my
Victory. Play of the game.
Meteor strike! Foolishness has consequences.
Imagine for a moment that you have a job managing a bowling alley. It's one of the many alleys in your town, it's a chain. You have to work long hours to keep the business profitable and growing. You have to make the right decision with unforeseen circumstances such as COVID. You have to keep things interesting and new so your patrons don't get bored and so casual patrons have a reason to come back. And you are a bowling enthusiast. Most days you really like managing a bowling alley. You accepted this job 7 years ago, and in that time, rent has gone up by 40%, food has gone up by 26%, yet your paycheck has gone down by more than half. Even though you're earning in the top 1% of bowling alley managers, you're still not making minimum wage. What would you do? I would hope that you would quit. The reason I'm using this particular metaphor is because I went bowling the other day at a bowling alley near my house, and it was filled with signs apologizing for the staff shortage and offering bowling the other day at a bowling alley near my house, and it was filled with signs apologizing for the staff shortage and offering up to $19 per hour plus benefits to work the front desk. In reality, this bowling alley management position I put you in starts with a salary of around $70,000 plus benefits. In reality. but neither musicians nor venture capitalists live anywhere close to reality. In today's video, we're not going to be talking about Joe Rogan getting $100 million or how streaming services are degrading the way we listen to and explore music. For years, for an exhaustive amount of time now, I've been collecting data from hundreds of independent musicians and small record labels, and I finally feel certain enough to tell you exactly how Spotify is, how do I put this, a grift, a heist. Let's start this with some recent personal numbers that will probably surprise you even if you thought that streaming services were a bad thing. 3 years ago, right before the pandemic, I released a full-length album as The Flashbulb. It had a promotional budget, it had a music video, and it was actually pretty well received. At the time of me recording this in January of 2023, this is how much money I made from that album on Spotify since releasing it. Now, a few weeks ago in December, I released a new album exclusively on Bandcamp. There was no promotion, no music video. In fact, I didn't even mention it on social media until about 48 hours before it came out. I priced it at $5, and the first week, it made this much. My point here is that in only 7 days, I was able to make more from this half-assed album release than Spotify could pay me in 3 fucking years. All right, so let's get rid of this new one and compare the exact same album. Our Simulacra made 3 times more on Bandcamp than it did on Spotify since its release. About 2 years ago, when I made my last video on this topic, I looked at the data and I noticed that the amount of money streaming services paid artists was sinking by a whole lot, and I wondered to myself if they had pulled a massive bait and switch scheme with royalties. And it wasn't until I got my hands on this, the entire contract agreement between Sony Music and Spotify, that I realized that it absolutely was a bait and switch, and major labels were completely aware of it. So much so that Sony Music got paid with huge non-refundable advances from Spotify, and in every case I looked into, none of those advances went to the artists. The initial contract with Sony in 2011 paid $25 million to Sony per year, plus $9 million in ad spots, which Sony could then resell. Sony's advances were tied to market share and other variables on an annual basis, so they would keep rising year after year. Spotify knew that if they wanted you to become a Spotify customer and subscriber first, they needed to have the biggest names in music in their library right from the start. And to do this, they threw millions of venture capital dollars at the media conglomerates that own the licenses for the music on an annual basis, rather than just promising a fair royalty. So if you're an independent musician, and if you ever wondered if Beyonce's label is getting more per stream than you are, the answer is such a complicated form of course, that you're better off just drinking whiskey until you fall asleep laughing maniacally at how unfair the world is. So why would musicians sign up in the first place? Well, I think there are a lot of reasons. To start, most musicians want to adapt to the next big thing, and music streaming effectively made accessing music so easy that music piracy started dropping, not unlike the effect Netflix had on movie piracy. But musicians couldn't just upload their music to dropping, not unlike the effect Netflix made accessing music so easy that music piracy started dropping, not unlike the effect Netflix had on movie piracy. But musicians couldn't just upload their music to Spotify. Spotify and iTunes couldn't be bothered to actually manage their own library that justifies their existence in the first place. They made independent musicians pay for the privilege for third-party services like TuneCore or DistroKid. A little side note here, Spotify would actually buy a minority stake in DistroKid so they could monetize their own lack of functionality. After a few years, if you wanted to be an independent musician and have your name alongside the bigger artists that Spotify was actually secretly paying up front for, you didn't have any other option. And for someone like myself who came into Spotify having already been making a living as a professional musician, once the payments started coming in, it started making sense. I won't bore you with the details, I already did that in this video, but once Spotify and the other streaming services dominated every other form of music distribution, including radio, take a wild guess what happened. Musicians got f***ed. Here's a way of putting it that tech investors might understand. This is how much Spotify paid independent musicians per stream on average over time. Without a doubt, it is a bait and switch, especially when Spotify's subscriber growth looks like this. Now, when I pointed this out in a video 2 years ago, I got quite a bit of pushback from investors or day traders who I assume had some sort of stake in Spotify, and I couldn't fathom how they weren't seeing this as a bad thing. It's actively squeezing the life out of the one thing that you're reselling. If Uber drivers were paid so download that they couldn't afford fuel, that would not be good news for investors. I think a lot of people in the music industry have been completely blindsided by this because the modern Silicon Valley business model operates so differently. Most people would describe Spotify's business strategy as something called blitzscaling, and it's both clever and stupid at the same time. The goal is to grow at an absurdly rapid pace and get as high of a market valuation as quickly as possible, and then, after you've succeeded at that, then you find out if the business can be profitable and how to make that work. Seriously. Example, you think of an idea like, what if you could pay $10 a month and see unlimited movies in movie theaters? And movie theaters are like, yeah, that's not really gonna work because the tickets cost more than $10, but you'll figure something out. This will radically transform the film industry, and you bullshit your way into raising millions and billions of dollars. So you literally start using your investors' money to give all of your customers debit cards and pay face value for movie tickets. But in order to get more money from investors, you need to tell them that you have more customers. So you drop the membership price to $7. Now you're losing somewhere around $40 million a month, but you'll figure something out. Things are getting really stressful, so now would be a good time to sell your company to a super shady foreign investor that nobody has heard of, and then it goes bankrupt and reallocates finances, and then you buy it back and try and raise some more money. Or maybe you live in a city where you have experienced the phenomenon of infinite amounts of money dumping electric fucking scooters everywhere. Does that seem like a profitable business venture to you? Most investors know that it's not, but they don't care. It's just a matter of buying low and selling high. When a business is founded on blitzscaling or fast scaling, if growth slows down before a profitable business model is discovered, everything goes kaput. It's all or nothing. So the top priority above all other things is to keep growing. And in cases such as MoviePass or Uber, the customer gets a slight lifestyle upgrade paid for by a pool of venture capital investments. Now in Spotify's case, the venture capital allowed the initial membership fees to be low and the royalties to be relatively high. That way more artists would get on board and keep their music there. But since Spotify wouldn't dare risk slower growth of subscribers, their immense losses are bandaged and subsidized from independent musicians, both by cutting their royalties and charging them for listing prioritization on things like the Marquee program. Unfortunately, due to Spotify's market share and absolute dominance and presence on everybody's phones, as a result, the perceived value of music in general has dropped to unsustainable levels. And an extremely optimistic take would be saying that the music economy is at critical mass and not utterly irreparable. One might ask, is Spotify's business model functional without a profit? And the answer to that depends on who you ask and what you mean by functional. Do you remember earlier in this video when I told you about the major labels having backdoor agreements with Spotify? Well, a lot of that was huge amounts of stocks in Spotify being transferred to the record labels, and almost all the labels dumped that stock right after it went public. The CEO is worth $5 billion. Employees like Dawn Ostroff get about $7.5 million in salary. Third-party companies like DistroKid that exist solely to charge you to put your music on Spotify have a $1 billion valuation, and Spotify's investors have made, well, about that. Now, I'm no big city economist, but it seems to me that a blitzscaling strategy would work best with rock-bottom interest rates, and if you haven't noticed, that parade came to a screeching halt. When those rates were low, Spotify for a long time has had a lot of trouble finding a profit, but it's about to get a whole lot worse, and this isn't news to most investors. But the much bigger issue with the streaming platform business model that investors seem to be wildly ignoring is that none of these platforms own any of the assets that they're reselling. They don't even have a license for them for the next fiscal year. Let's say that there was some sort of, I don't know, a viral Reddit post that created some sort of pseudo-online musician union, or let's just say that Joe Rogan said something else completely insane that was the straw that broke the camel's back. If there was just some sort of small movement or occurrence where a few thousand independent artists with fan bases similar to mine decided to remove their music from Spotify today, it very well could create a snowball effect with subscribers. And of course, as a customer, if you put your AirPods in and picked up your phone expecting to hear some artists that you're accustomed to listen to and all of a sudden weren't able to find them, you're not going to recite your loyalty to Spotify. You'll just use a platform that has the artists you listen to. The point is, this platform is extremely fragile, and it is increasingly neglecting the only asset that it has. If you're an investor who has a stake in Spotify or music streaming platform and you think that there's a chance that they will stabilize and eventually make a profit or a steady long-term profit, I can tell you, after spending years excruciatingly analyzing both the artist and business side of this microeconomy, I am as certain as I could possibly be that you are wrong. At least a few people watching this are thinking, well, Ben, why don't you just take your music off of Spotify then? Because I get those comments every single time I mention any of these problems. But I also get plenty of messages asking me to put more of my albums, especially my older albums, on Spotify. And in this last week, I've had plenty of people complaining that my newest album isn't there. It's a double-edged sword. I want to stop being part of the system, but I also don't want to take it out on my listeners, most of whom believe that they're adequately supporting artists by listening to them on a streaming service. For me, at least, I don't think that folding my arms and saying anyone that subscribes to Spotify is part of the problem is helpful. I think that making videos like this and being a broken record every time somebody asks me about these things is helpful. But the truth is that if everybody stopped using streaming services right now, they'd have what? Bandcamp, iTunes, piracy. None of these are adequate replacements. So what do we do? If you're an Apple Music customer, or if you thought that switching to Apple Music was a solution, nope, they've been doing the exact same thing. Independent artists are making an average of 32% less per stream than when most of them put their music on the platform. In fact, Apple Music launched with a pseudo-internal blitzscaling method. They tried to bring in a bunch of subscribers with a 3-month free trial with no intention of paying artists during that period. They were subsidizing growth through royalties because they otherwise would have had to spend their own money. Tidal though, right? It was built by artists to be fair to artists. Wrong. For me, personally, Tidal, when they've actually paid out, is now paying 51% less per stream than when I signed on. All right, let's get to the center here. This is important. The streaming business model simply does not work. Any future platform of this type will need a similar strategy in order to gain a sizable market share that could promise to reach profit in the long term. And beyond that, even with iTunes or Amazon Music or Bandcamp, these are for-profit companies. It is their legal duty to their investors to eventually pay as little as they can possibly get away with while charging as much as they can. It's still completely botched. Capitalism only works when there's scarcity. We have concocted insane, unconstitutional laws that make you a criminal for humming a song in public or transferring a file to try and force it to work without scarcity. Capitalism, above all things, requires growth. And the function of intellectual property is the opposite to growth. It's about monetizing intangible things and then trying to profit by limiting who has access to them. The only way that this makes money is when you sidestep it by selling convenience, novelty, or if you're simply making people too scared of punishment from their government to share information with one another. The sooner that artists, intellectual property holders, and investors can accept and digest this, then the sooner we can build a music industry that doesn't collapse every single decade. If you're a musician or any type of artist that tries to make a living off of their work, this all probably sounds like really bad news, but it's not. A post-scarcity society is considered utopian. In 1999, something really important happened. A group of college students made an incredibly easy way to share music files that didn't require a web host. I think everybody in the tech and business world saw the potential that an MP3 file has, and then companies like Apple regurgitated it into crap like iTunes. But in this colossal change of the music industry, they conveniently glossed over the most important part: decentralization. It turns out that we don't need Apple or Sony Music or Spotify to listen to music, and it exposed the reality of intellectual property that I had just mentioned. It turns out that we also don't need Twitter Incorporated or Meta or Facebook or Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg or even YouTube. All of these things can be done without a private data center, CEOs, or even copyright, and as long as we have a free market, it eventually will be. And surprisingly, recently nonprofits are actually accelerating this. Things like Signal and Mastodon are great examples of nonprofit projects that function far more efficiently than what they're trying to replace because there isn't a profitable business to manage. And no, the mention of decentralization here has nothing to do with cryptocurrencies or NFTs, nor should it. The whole idea here is to build an economy that supports individuals, that create things that you enjoy, not concoct more ways to profit off of artificial scarcity. So, what should we do in the meantime? I think that if you are a subscriber to a streaming service, now might be a good time to cancel that subscription and enjoy the novelty of finding a music file player that you enjoy and doing some exploring to find some new music that you like without an algorithm supplying it for you. By the way, I don't think Bandcamp will solve these problems. I don't think Epic Games bought them because they love music so much. I think they'll eventually find a way to squeeze as much profit as possible out of it. But in the meantime, it does pay rather fairly, and it's a great place to find new music on your own. I've always solved these problems. I don't think Epic Games bought them because they love Bandcamp and some new music that you like without an algorithm supplying it for you. By the way, I don't think Bandcamp will solve these problems. I don't think Epic Games bought them because they love music on streaming services at all, or you could make a gentler point by releasing music on streaming services a few months or weeks after you release them on Bandcamp or your own platform. Just this last week, I tried.
Oh yeah, you know what time it is. It's time to roll on out of bed, get a good stretch, get some cereal in your system, sit down and see the latest in the Logan Paul CryptoZoo scam situation. I don't think there's any need for a Dragon Ball Z recap of what's happened up till this point. I think we all know, but I'll give you the briefest rundown. YouTuber CoffeeZilla exposed Logan Paul for a massive crypto scam he was running, telling the story of many victims who lost tons and tons of money on it. A lot of information came out about exactly how horrible this situation was. Logan Paul hiring literal criminals to run it with him who stole $7.7 million. And after CoffeeZilla released this series of investigative videos, Logan Paul responded with threats against CoffeeZilla, talking about taking him to court. He then made a podcast episode doubling down on everything he was saying. He never defended himself. He didn't attack any of the claims. He didn't provide any evidence to prove that he's innocent. He just kind of kicked in the door, walked up like the Undertaker. He's like, CoffeeZilla, he's a sham. He's a little man. And just like a little man does, he does little man things. And I'm a big boy. I'm Logan Paul. So fuck that guy. And and that's it. Like, that's his whole thing. He just kept attacking CoffeeZilla's character without ever even addressing the evidence that he provided. So, obviously, the first two responses didn't go over well with anyone at all. Not a single soul on this planet. So, after that happened, he released a third apology video where the attitude was very different. He was singing a completely different tune. He backpedaled on everything he said about CoffeeZilla, even thanked him for the investigation, said he's dropping the lawsuit, which is probably the smartest thing he's ever decided to do because his face would have been used as toilet paper to wipe everyone's ass in court if he actually went through with that defamation case idea. But anyway, after the apology video was posted by Logan, CoffeeZilla responded to it last night, going over some of the things that he talked about that are good, that are actually helping some victims that were affected by the scam, but also some things that really fell flat. So I think it's a very interesting breakdown, and I think it's a very fitting conclusion, and I still hope that more is done to help the victims of his massive scam, but this is definitely a step in the right direction. The gift that just keeps on giving. So this is the follow-up to everything. Logan Paul made his big statement talking about like that $1.3 million. Well, you know what? I'm sure CoffeeZilla will cover all of it here.
Well, it's finally over. Logan Paul apologized.
CoffeeZilla, your slime.
And we all forgave him.
A lopsided journalist with an...
Turns out it's actually on his secondary channel. That's why I couldn't find it. It's entitled Thank You CoffeeZilla. It's the third response from Logan Paul.
I love this intro. CoffeeZilla's coming out here with the fangs out.
Response from Logan Paul.
I love this intro.
It's actually on his secondary channel. That's why I couldn't find it. It's entitled Thank You CoffeeZilla. It's the third response from Logan Paul.
I love this intro. CoffeeZilla's coming out here with the fangs out. He's got his claws drawn. Yeah, I mean, third time's the charm, though, for Logan. He really nailed it on this one. He's a saint again, back in our good graces. I bought 5 bottles of Prime just to celebrate. He's a new man.
CoffeeZilla is not a criminal.
Oh, that's a relief. I thought Logan was going to hire me. But in all seriousness, this video does have some major admissions in it I want to go through. For
banger.
One, Logan
Actual
apologizes
banger.
to me. Oh, that's a relief. I thought Logan was...
He's a new man.
CoffeeZilla is not a criminal.
Oh, that's a relief. I thought Logan was going to hire me. But in all seriousness, this video does have some major admissions in it I want to go through. For
banger.
One, Logan
Actual
apologizes
banger.
to me.
I called him. I apologized. My initial response to his series was that of fire, an ego,
Not only that, Logan also pledges a $1.3 million refund plan for people who bought his NFTs. In addition to that, he also promises to finish CryptoZoo, which was left abandoned.
And then
He should just hire that YouTuber that did it in 4 hours. Crypto scam for me so I can continue to make
By this scam, and you wanted a reason to
That's what I
love
said.
Logan Paul again. I think this nails it. I mean,
Logan Paul apologized. Not allowed to be woke? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you get woke over there, you go to the
Wait, I was just saying earlier, guys. Haven't played against Trickster in like 3 months. We finally got one. There we go. Alright, taking chase straight away as well. Does actually hit that. I didn't think you would. Also got Blood Favor. I think we're in a bad spot then, aren't we? There's the Blood Favor. We can go back for that later. Keep greeting this because he is pretty slow. He played that well there. Well, dead hard that though. Move away. Probably drop in here, I would assume. I kind of hope so as well. So we can use the build. It's gonna pre-vault this. Let's get away as well. Move back onto this. We still have the pallet up. Hopefully now it'll drop chase. Nah, he's still on us. Get that down on him. Breaking up. Alright, we need to move. Yeah, he's not gonna drop chase at all, is he? He's just gonna commit. Play window. 1 gen done as well. Double back. Two gens done. Let's move away from Hay. Double back again. It's getting close now to that point of no return. Gonna pre-throw this. Problem is now once we use this pallet here, we're kind of zoned. We'll do the same thing we did earlier. Nah, he doubled back. He was ready for that. Seen with object. Good object value there. Alright, I think this time we're gonna have to play pallet. Yeah, we need to this time, don't we? I did pull up. We'll greet it for now. Play window again. I really want to move away, but there's a big gap, isn't there, between here and the shed? This time we're not even going to move around that side. We're just going to play pallet. We're throwing that down. We've had our money's worth out of this. This time we're going to move into the map. I don't think we're going to make it over there, unfortunately. So we do have the pallet here if we need to use this. We'll keep playing distance, though. We have a little bit of distance. Should be a pallet over here as well. 2 gens left. We're camping this. That is all yours. Just going to break it as well. Someone here doing a gen. Nice. Got it done. Perfect timing. All right, 1 gen left. So close to that 5 gen. So close. Pre-throw this. Now we're going to move in over here somewhere. Yeah, there's a pallet there we can use, actually. We'll use this. We'll connect it to the window. There's object again as well. Let's hope he doesn't come through here. He's not. Nice. All right, now we can rotate back. All yours. All yours. All right, 1 gen. 1 gen left. Come on. Okay, it's over there. They're working on it there. Which means we need to stay here at the TLs. Pretty unsafe, but we kind of have to at this point. He's going the long way around. Nice. There we go. That's the 5 gem. Perfect. Perfect. We'll take it. Didn't use the build again, but You can't complain about a 5 gen. We'll take that. Double bat there. And we actually bleed out. Alright, let's see what our teammates can do. If he decides to put us on hook, I mean, he might be having us bleed out. Yeah, they're not going to be able to. The problem is, as soon as they get us up, we just go straight back down. Okay, maybe we're up. He's going down there. Okay, this guy's teabagging. This gate's 99. We're going to heal up first. We're going to heal up first. All right, if we distract him, she gets a save. That will be good. It's definitely doable, but like I said, Trickster's one of the better campers. Okay, there we go. We're out now. Or should be, at least. Yeah, we're going to leave here, I think. He can get Hatch. Nah, he is going for it. We're not making that, are we? Okay, we are. Nice. Perfect. All right, GG's. GG's. We'll take that. That was a good game. That was a fun one. GG's. We're going to greed this. Play window instead. Really greedy, though, wasn't it? Yeah, it does make that. That should make window here. It depends which side it's on. Okay, it's on this side, which is better for us. Team with object. Alright, I hope he commits like the last guy. That would be good. I almost dropped that. I played it risky last second. Can do one more. Yeah, we need to drop it. As much as I wanted to greed it, kind of had to. He is breaking that straight away as well. Probably going to drop chase here, I would assume. Is he going up the stairs trying to meet us around the other side? Looks like he might be. Yeah, he did. He went up there, but then dropped down. I think he realized he wasn't going up there. Gonna put this in the way. Need to move just in case he baited it. Nice. Right, someone on the gen there. 2 gens done. Really good gen speed. 3 gens done. That is perfect. Come back. Please stay. No, I want the 5 gen. Alright, he's back on us. Getting stuck on the tree there, unfortunately. We have too much distance to play window from this side. Play it from this side. Did swing as well, perfect. Might go for a vault on the window. Yeah, he's gonna do that. Does have bamboozle. Wasn't expecting that. Alright, we'll give him this. Move away. We'll play the same window earlier. Or from earlier. Try to get the fast vault. Need to drop this. Play window again. 1 gen left. Another vault. Completely safe here until he breaks it, though. He's going to try and vault it, isn't he? Object helped us out there. We could see what he was trying to do. Could see that he was holding his power. Last gen done. Window's now unblocked as well. Going for the vault there. Bamboozle going to come into play. He'll wait dead hard. And then now we'll do it. Nice. There we go. Perfect. I still don't think we get anywhere, though, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't get anywhere. Alright, gate here is opened. He's going to try and wait that. I don't know if he'll have time, though. Because after the endurance, we... In fact, yeah. Okay, yeah. Dead hard. Alright, there we go. GG's. Okay, he found the box first, unfortunately. We're just going to give him this. Chain hunt straight away as well. Going straight back into that. That's not good. Had a feeling he'd swing that. All right, we're going to rotate back onto this. Yeah, I want to play this side. It's a little bit longer. Gonna move back. Okay, now I guess we can't. Get that down. Now we'll move back. He's probably not going to break that either. Yeah, he's not. All right, we can go back to it later if we need to. Rotate now. Probably going to break it now this time. No, going for the chains again. Tried to dead hard. I was a tiny bit too late though. Yeah, he's gonna go for the chains. Nah, he faked it. He faked it. He played that well. Still respecting though. Right, it's still on us. Thought he'd respect again. Do one more. He's still respecting though, isn't he? Good hit there. I think we're fine though. Yeah, we're fine. Let's get this down. Nice. Alright, gonna break that. We'll take him away. If we do, they can get the gen. Yeah, he's probably just gonna come out at this point, isn't he? God pallet's there, perfect. We'll give it him as well. Alright, it's still on us. Yeah, at this point, probably just gonna commit. One gen left now. Breaking that door as well. Guess we'll play window again. What's David doing there? Chains. Drop that. Changed his mind about the swing. Last second. If he commits to this side, we can play window. He doubled back though, he realized that. He played that well. So lucky. Alright, this pallet's down as well. He is actually going to the box, surprisingly. Alright, let's go help David. He knows which gate has been opened as well, based on the fact he's been to this one. He must have bite the bullet, I think. Okay, this pallet's dead. That's unfortunate. Alright, I think we should have enough distance now to get to the gate. Obviously, we're taking them one, though. We're not going to try another spin at this point. We're just going to keep holding forward. Should be out. David's healed up now as well. Everyone's safe. Alright, there we go. GG's. GG's.
Re-education camp. Here we go.
Well, it's finally over. Logan Paul apologized.
CoffeeZilla, your slangiest. He is a lopsided journalist with an agenda, more like an internet.
Hey there, fellow.
Wait,
tech news, and it just keeps coming in. It's all over this. It just keeps coming. They're just so cool. There's so many technical things that happen. But you want me to do something about it? Apple has unveiled new MacBook Pros and Mac Minis powered by M2 SoCs, including new chips thankfully named M2 Pro and M2 Max instead of M2 Excessive or something. M2 Outlandish. The 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pros perform around 20 to 30% faster than their M1-derived counterparts, at least according to Apple's graphs, and can be configured with up to 96 gigabytes of RAM if you're Elon Musk. There's also M2 and M2 Pro-equipped Mac Minis, so I can get my mom a discounted M1 version soon, but if you watched Apple's 18-minute video keenly looking for any sign of the company's mixed reality headset, keep waiting. It'll probably still show up in June, although we'll be waiting longer for Apple's lighter AR glasses, which have been delayed in favor of making a cheaper headset for the Quest 2 crowd. But that wasn't actually everything that Apple officially announced this week. There's a new full-size HomePod 2 for $299 after Apple pulled the old one because no one bought it. It's apparently better, even though it has less physical speakers inside it, but that might be to make room for unknown sensors, like the secret temperature and humidity sensor that Apple just activated in the HomePod Mini. People bought it without even knowing it was in there. What else is in there? Just hide it. It's a big sword, like. Anyways, you can use 2 of the new big HomePods as stereo speakers for your Apple TV, but can you use it to accept the new terms and conditions after your TV updates? Yeah, this week a tweet by Chris, I don't know how to read his handle, went viral after he was prompted by his Apple TV to accept its new TOS using basically any other Apple device, which he didn't have, a situation that is apparently inconceivable to Apple. What do you mean you don't have more than, you don't even have an iPad? You don't need another device to set up the Apple TV, so this was confusing. Thankfully, there is a workaround involving signing out from the Apple TV's settings, but Apple would really prefer you to have an iOS device on hand, because otherwise, how is it gonna collect your user data without your consent? That's right, France just fined Apple a whole $8.5 million, aka the amount of cash it gives its kids to spend at the corner store, for that whole debacle from a few months ago where it was found that Apple's personalized ads toggle in iOS did absolutely nothing in most of Apple's own apps. Because what happens on your iPhone stays on your iPhone. It's just you have to understand that Apple's servers are part of your iPhone. And in non-Apple news, Getty Images has sued Stability AI, the maker of popular AI art tool Stable Diffusion, in the second major lawsuit over what the heck we're gonna do about the copyright thing now that art can be absorbed, mixed around, and reconstituted like a freak Star Trek transporter accident. Getty Images says Stability AI copied and processed millions of images protected by copyright without a license, although Getty CEO Craig Peters said they're not seeking monetary damages. They just want to establish a precedent for this kind of thing. And yeah, sure, if people pay for licenses as part of that as a matter of conscience, then fine. And to be clear, we do need that precedent and education and transparency regarding this AI stuff because people are freaking out and thinking Adobe is definitely training AI with your Photoshop files, which the company has denied. But was that press release written by ChatGPT? How can you know? I don't know, maybe we can burn through a bunch of these lawsuits really quick. We should just use that AI lawyer bot. Due process just takes so much time. I could be eating dinner right now. Now it's time for Quick Bits, brought to you by Kudos, the free smart wallet that helps you get the most rewards and benefits from your credit cards whenever you shop online. What does that dumb leather one in your butt pocket do besides put your spine out of alignment? All you need to do is shop like normal, and at checkout, Kudos will tell you which of your cards will get you the most cash back. Say goodbye to the struggle of picking out the right card for a purchase, or say nothing. That struggle was rude and does not deserve a farewell. Kudos will even remind you of any hidden credit card benefits that you might never have known you had, like luggage insurance or purchase protection. Start getting the most out of your credit cards today by going to joinkudos.com/techlinked. I know you like the Quick Bits, okay, but I don't do it just for you. There are other people here. Look around the, oh, you're on the toilet. Okay, well. In a much too common trend, Microsoft announced it's laying off 10,000 workers, around 4.5% of the company's workforce. But the move is attracting even more criticism than normal, since it comes 1 year to the day after Microsoft announced plans to acquire Activision Blizzard for $69 billion. The layoffs might make more sense if Microsoft had actually paid that money already, but the deal hasn't gone through, and it might not ever if regulators get their way. And then what are you gonna do, hire the poor workers back? I understand how businesses work. Dell
criminal.
Oops, wrong video. That was the first response. He actually apologized in another response.
Okay.
It's like a little knack. It's like a little annoying knack. It bothers me. The defamation lawsuit, that is happening because this is wrong. This is wrong.
Hold on, wait a second. That's not it either. Turns out it's actually on his secondary channel. That's why I couldn't find it.
That's super cringe that he put it on his second channel. He 100% should have put it on his main channel. I didn't even know this because I watched it on Twitter. That's so dumb.
It's entitled, Thank You, CoffeeZilla. It's the third response from Logan Paul, and it's a pretty big change in Logan's attitude so far.
Yeah,
so
I bet.
Let's see what he has to say to us.
CoffeeZilla is not a criminal.
Oh, that's a relief. I thought Logan was going to hire me. But in all seriousness, this video does have some major admissions in it I want to go through. For one, Logan apologizes to me.
I called him. I apologized. My initial response to his series was that of fire and ego.
Not only that, Logan also pledges a $1.3 million refund plan for people who bought his NFTs.
I am personally committing 1,000 ETH to this, which is about $1.3 million.
In addition to that, he also promises to finish CryptoZoo, which was left abandoned.
And then step 3, obviously finish and deliver the game as outlined in the white paper.
Now, I'll be honest, this is a big change in tone, and honestly, a lot of this is good news.
It is good news. I mean, I think that, like, it's okay to still meme on him for it, though. Like, I don't think that CoffeeZilla was being a dick for memeing on him about. I mean, he did threaten to fucking sue him, right? So, I think that also, if public sentiment had not shifted so far against Logan Paul, do you think that video would be deleted? I don't think so.
It's great that victims are going to get something back.
Yeah.
Logan seems to acknowledge his continuous lapse in judgment. He's not suing me, which is also cool.
That's
and
nice.
Frankly, this new response is just way better than his last two. I think we can all acknowledge that.
Yep, agreed.
While also acknowledging that it's not really a perfect response either. There are still major problems here. Like, for example, many of the victims just have been ignored in this response. A lot of accusations have gone unanswered, and worse, Logan still seems to be playing the victim a lot. So in this video, I'm going to do my best to give Logan credit where credit is absolutely due, while also sharing moments where I think this apology fell flat. And let me start with a positive. For example, I think if you were an outsider who is not affected by this scam and you wanted a reason to love Logan Paul again, I think this nails it. I mean,
I don't know about that. It's just like, I think everybody knows that obviously